Hello, my friends. Today, I had a great opportunity. I talked to Tim Winders, Vice-Chancellor for Information Services at Purdue University Northwest. We had a fantastic conversation about educational technology, how the university are reinventing themselves to put the students at the center of the experience, empowering them to be able to master all the skills that they need to hit the ground running at the job market. And of course, how can one person stays relevant long after they complete their college education? It was mind-blowing. I'm sure you're gonna love that. But before I start playing the video, please smash the like button if you enjoyed this video. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, otherwise you're gonna lose next video. So don't do that. And let's go. Tim, thank you very much for joining me today. I am super glad to have you on my channel. And as I always say to all the special guests that I have here, it's going to be an amazing conversation. And I'm sure that whomever is watching us now, we're going to appreciate and learn a lot with you. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the invite, Rodrigo, and I am looking forward to our chat and conversation today.
Perfect. Tim, I don't want to start posing a lot of questions. I know, of course, who you are. I chased you. I looked into you to be sure that you want to be here with me, and I'm sure that you have a lot to share. But for those who don't know you yet, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Tim Winders. I'm the Vice-Chancellor for Information Services at Purdue University Northwest. I've been in my current role for 6 years. And my role here at the university is part of the senior leadership team driving the strategic direction and innovation at the university. And I make it my goal to be both a collaborator and a change agent across the university, really driving both the cultural change as well as what the service expectations that we deliver within information services at the university. It's my mantra to be a solution-oriented enterprise, and so I really am passionate about the quality of services that we deliver, and always focusing on the why, focusing on the business problems that we're trying to solve, and always ensuring that we deliver the best student experience that we possibly can.
That's perfect, Tim. Tim, but I would like to go straight to the point, right? And of course, you are here to talk about education, right? This great liaison between education and technology. And I would like to start making a reference, because I've been talking to a lot of leaders in the IT industry, right? Of course, dedicated to different type of business. But one thing that everybody has in common is to where the tendency, the trends is when you're talking about technology for that specific business. What I mean by that is, even if you are talking about healthcare, when you're talking about any other type of business, there's one thing very common. It's the flip on the perception, who is in the center of the experience. For example, for healthcare, we know that the trend is to put the patients in the center of experience, not the doctors, not the hospitals, nothing. It's going to be the patient. And I want to know your perspective, of course, and I can share mine then, is, do you think that the educational industry is leaning towards the same trends to looking into to put, and how, of course, they are put the students in the center of the experience and not the teachers anymore? What do you think about that, Tim?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that if we look to the future and not necessarily where the industry itself has been in the past, then that's definitely the trend, is the student experience, and not just focusing on how we use the technology in our business processes, or even how we use the technology in the classroom, but what is the student experience from end to end throughout their student lifetime at any institution? And that's what the forward-looking institutions are concentrating on, is what is what is the student experience in everything they do at the university, not just a classroom, but what's their overall total experience.
How can we improve the student experience?
It's both a culture shift and an investment. So the culture shift is, instead of legacy, we focus on the business processes. I have to get my job done. I have to award student financial aid. I have to admit them into classes. I have to enroll them. I have to get them through our processes. It's not student-centered or student-focused. It is, I have to do my job to get this thing done. Okay. So that the culture shift is thinking that our product is the student. That's what we are producing. We are producing the future. And so the best way that we can do that is to make sure that we are student-centered and that everything we do focuses around what the students do. So that's the first component, is changing our perspective and culture. The second, investment. We can't do that if we don't invest in people, process, and technology. And I say technology third there because the most important is the people. The students are going to be interacting with people almost all the time. They're in front of faculty, they're in front of administrators, they're in front of staff. And so we have to have the right people in place. Then we have to adjust our processes so that we help the students positively through their journey at the university, that we don't make them jump through artificial hoops just because that's our process. We walk through the students in the student's shoes. We understand what barriers or frustrations we put into our processes for no other reason than that's the way that it was designed 50 years ago, and we haven't changed at all. So we have to fix our processes. And then finally, the technology. We need to invest in the right technology to support those people and processes so that it's overall a positive experience.
I love what I'm hearing, Tim, because this is exactly what I think I 100% agree with you, because that traditional way in the past, we know that this won't work anymore, right? Where we have that formal classes, people need to, it's like a group that needs to go together at the same pace, at the same time, every single day throughout the 4 to 5 years, depends on the course that you're going to be attending, right? The program that you are attending. But now we need to give this perspective and understand that each individual has their own pace, their own way to learn, right? Some people prefers to go to a class, to attend classes. Some other people prefer to read books, right? And study by themselves. And I believe giving the whole type of opportunities, it's going to be better to, as you said, right? The product is the student. We need to provide to them all the power and all the tools, all the process that they need for them to feel that they are learning, right? And at least to succeed. That's why probably in the past, that traditional way, we saw a lot of people giving up on their courses, on their education. Just, oh, this is too hard for me. It's not necessarily because it's hard, just because it is not a fit for their personality. I can say like that.
Exactly.
Do you agree with that, Tim?
Absolutely. That it's so important to have that right fit. And fortunately, I can speak from the perspective of the US. There's a broad variety of types of institutions, the experiences that students will have, and it's extremely difficult to do that match up front. But the more time that both students and the institutions do in aligning the expectations of the culture and the type of experiences students are going to have that meet what the students want to receive, the better fit that's going to be. And we see students today that are no longer content to simply go to a university and plow through 4 years of misery. They're going to transfer out to another institution if their experience is less than what their expectations are. We see transfer rates skyrocketing across the country, and sadly, we lose more students that just drop out and don't transfer to another institution. They just leave higher education completely. And I don't attribute that to it being, too expensive or too hard. I really attribute it to it being a bad fit, a bad experience, right? So, I'm sure if you go out to dinner and you have a really bad experience at that restaurant, are you going to go back to that restaurant again? You're probably not. And if you have a bad experience at another restaurant, you may stop going out to get altogether. And you know what? I can do this at home a lot better than anybody else can do it for me. I don't need what you're selling me. And we have that same issue in higher education. So it's our responsibility to move forward to create that student-centered experience.
That's perfect, because one technology that appeared and was like a mind-blowing, it was this concept of blended learning, right? With the internet and the maturity, of course, of the institutions to understand how we can provide to the students, right, these blended programs. We know that's not easy. It's a totally shift on the process, the mindset. It is hard to adjust. We know that, but I think we are in the process to do that. And with the globalization, it's even more. We need to pay more attention to this type of blended programs. Otherwise, we're going to be stick to that traditional way of learning that people need to attend physically every single class, every single time, correct?
Yeah. And what we learned over the last year with the COVID pandemic is that the majority of students want to have an in-person experience. Now, we know that there's a certain number that want to have a completely online experience. Some want to have a blended experience, but the majority of our students and what I'm hearing from peers across the country is they want to be on a college campus. They want to be in front of their faculty members. They want to engage with other students. They want to have that face-to-face experience. And they also want to be able to retreat to their phone and do that online or blended part that they have grown up and the online social experience to incorporate into their overall university experience. They want it all, and so our challenge is to deliver that to them and develop the various different both instructional modalities for the students to be successful, but also provide those students services in the same way, right? So when a student needs help in financial aid, are we always going to make them stand in line to wait to talk to a financial aid counselor? Or do we provide them instant chat services? Do we provide them online static resources? Do we provide them with online video tutorials and that they can watch to learn how to access the different information that they might need about that? It used to be you either had to talk to somebody in person or on the phone, and today students don't want that. They don't want to deal with that. They want to have a very different personalized but electronic experience. So we need to be able to deliver that.
Well, I was not expecting to hear that, Tim, saying that people want this in-person experience. And most of, I'm assuming that because of this whole COVID where the lockdown happened, people want to have this proximity to the others. But just reinforce your points, right? Understand that the students needs to be at the center of the experience, provide to them all the tools needed. If they want in-person experience, we can deliver that. If they wanted 100% online programs, to deliver that is to empower them to use the tools that they have the best way for them, right? And not necessarily for the institution, but put the student at the center of the experience. That's amazing. You completely changed my mind on this one, Tim. I was not expecting that, and I loved it.
Because it's that whole engagement and peer relationship, and even if there's a virtual component of that, right? You think about say late teens, early 20s students, will get together and have a gaming party. You'll have 4 or 5 people sitting together in a room, all looking at their own device, all looking at their own screen, right? You could do that from anywhere in the world, but they get together to do that. So there is a social component that needs both a physical and a virtual aspect to it in order to really drive what today's expectations are.
But Tim, I need to challenge you with something. And
okay,
this is a very good one because
I'm ready. I'm ready for you.
This is an interesting discussion because we know that there is a lot of discussions talking about how relevant is to go and get a college degree, right? A lot of powerful people say we don't need that. People don't need to go to college. I don't agree with that. But we understand that the universities and college, they need to reinvent themselves every single year, every single time, because they need to prepare the students to tackle the job market, right? As soon as we are finished. And we do have a set of skills that we train our students to be able to go and be effective on the job market. But job market changes as fast as technology, as fast as anything else. And how can one stay relevant after finished a university or a college in the job market? Because I want to do like a very simple comparison, right? Imagine that I want to be fit my whole life. It's not because I was able to run a marathon when I was 20 that I'm going to be fit for the rest of my life, right? So how can one go through these tough years, super important years at the university, but then stay relevant to the job market throughout the whole years?
Yeah, so there's a number of components that you've got here. One is to continue to improve the programs that you're delivering to be relevant to today's job market. Right? That might be taking an existing program and simply modifying or adding new skills, new student learning outcomes that we have learned and understood either through research or through just what the business needs, through what the business needs are. And then we have, so that's keeping relevant and current with the skills and technology that we're teaching. So a good example might be, well, 30 years ago, we wouldn't be talking about DNA sequencing. But if you're not teaching DNA sequencing in some of your life sciences or biological sciences, then your courses are irrelevant. Okay? So I may not be teaching them how to do that, but I'm teaching them about the topics. So we have to continue to keep our curriculum current related to the topics that are there. But we have to really do is develop individuals that come out to be both critical thinkers and instill in them the motivation for lifelong learning. Right. So it's my responsibility as a citizen, once I've completed my formal education, to continuously get educated. And there's a multitude of ways that happens. It could be on the job training. It could be additional professional development, online podcasts, whatever I'm reading. I continuously grow as an individual. And so we, as institutions of higher education, need to make sure that we are instilling that value within the students that we educate, and that they come away passionate about learning.
This happens every single time when I am having such a wonderful conversation. The time flies, right? And I ask it for, this is a lot of your time, and we are at the top of the hour. I can even imagine that. But Tim, I want to really appreciate your time. I know you are a busy person, and I have no words to thank you enough. So, but I hope that I can steal more of your time in the future.
Well, thank you. The time has flown by. I appreciate it. I've enjoyed our conversation today, and I do look forward to speaking again in the future.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tim.
Great. Thank you.
Have a nice rest of the day.
You as well.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Cheers.